There are moments in human history when a single creation stops the world, when time seems to pause, when people from different cultures, beliefs and centuries all look at the same thing and feel the same sense of awe. Some paintings hang quietly on walls, content to be admired and pass by. But this one refuses to be silent. It doesn't wait politely for attention, it demands it. The moment your eyes meet it, something shifts inside you. You feel it before you understand it. Long after the artist put the brush down, long after the paint dried, the message stayed alive, breathing across time, cultures, and generations. What makes this painting remarkable isn't the canvas or the colours alone. It's the courage behind it. The courage to say something real in a world that often prefers comfort over truth. The courage to expose emotion when hiding would have been easier. The artist didn't create this work to be safe. They created it to be honest. And honesty has a way of echoing far beyond its moment. This painting speaks because it comes from a place most people are afraid to visit. It comes from vulnerability. Every line feels intentional, every shadow purposeful, every detail loaded with meaning. You can sense that the artist wrestled with something while creating it. An idea, a fear, a belief, a question about life itself. And instead of turning away from that struggle, they painted straight through it. That's why this work still resonates today, because human emotions don't expire. Pain doesn't change with technology. Hope doesn't go out of fashion. Fear and love look the same in every century. This painting understands that, and that understanding is what gives it its voice. When you stand in front of it, you don't just observe it. You participate in it. The painting becomes a conversation. It asks you questions without using words. It challenges you to reflect, to feel, to remember something about yourself you may have forgotten. And the most powerful part is this: no two people hear the exact same message. Each person walks away with a different interpretation, because the painting speaks directly to what already lives inside them. That is the rare power of true expression. It doesn't force meaning onto you. It invites meaning out of you. The artist may have doubted themselves during the process. They may have wondered if anyone would understand. They may have faced criticism, rejection, or even failure. But they chose expression over approval. And in doing so, they created something that outlived them. This painting teaches us an important lesson. Silence is easy. Playing it safe is easy. Blending in is easy. But expression, that takes courage. It takes the willingness to be seen, to be misunderstood, to be judged. Yet it is only through expression that something truly meaningful is born. In a world overflowing with noise, this painting stands out, not because it shouts, but because it speaks with clarity and truth. It reminds us that when you dare to put your inner world on display, your work can become timeless. Your voice can travel further than you ever imagined. This painting refuses to be silent because it was never created to be decoration. It was created to be a declaration that truth matters, that emotion matters, that one honest act of creation can ripple through history. This painting does not simply present an image to be admired. It presents a reflection to be confronted. It does not exist only on the canvas in front of you. It exists in the space between the artwork and the viewer. From the very first glance, it begins to work like a mirror, revealing something deeply human, not just the subject painted, but the person standing there, looking back at it. What makes this painting extraordinary is its ability to hold many truths at the same time. One person sees hope, another sees sorrow. One sees faith, another sees doubt, and none of them are wrong. The painting does not demand agreement, it invites interpretation. It understands that every human being arrives with a different story, shaped by different experiences, wounds, dreams, and beliefs. Somehow, it makes room for all of them. This is where the painting transcends art and becomes a reflection of humanity itself, because humanity is not one emotion, one perspective, or one answer. Humanity is contradiction. It is strength mixed with vulnerability. It is joy existing alongside pain. This painting captures that complexity without trying to simplify it. The artist did not create a perfect world on the canvas. They created an honest one. And honesty has a way of connecting people across borders, languages, and time. When something is real, it doesn't need explanation. It doesn't need persuasion. It simply resonates. That is why people from different cultures, centuries apart, can stand in front of the same painting and feel understood. The painting speaks in a language older than words, the language of emotion. It reminds us that beneath our titles, beliefs, and identities, we all share the same fundamental experiences. We all long to be seen. We all fear loss. We all search for meaning. What's remarkable is that the painting does not tell you what to feel. It doesn't instruct you or guide you toward a single conclusion. Instead, it creates space. Space for reflection. Space for honesty. Space for the viewer to project their own inner world onto the canvas. In doing so, it becomes personal to everyone who encounters it. This is why great art never ages. Styles may change, techniques may evolve, but emotional truth remains constant. The questions humans ask today are the same questions they asked hundreds of years ago. Who am I? Why am I here? What matters? This painting doesn't answer those questions outright, but it tears to ask them, and that is often more powerful. The artist may not have fully understood the magnitude of what they were creating. They were likely driven by an inner need to express something that words could not contain. Perhaps they were trying to make sense of their own life, their own struggles, their own beliefs. And in being honest about their own experience, they accidentally captured something universal. This is the paradox of great art. The more personal it is, the more it belongs to everyone. Standing before this painting, you are reminded that art is not about decoration or prestige. It is about connection. It is about the invisible thread that links one human soul to another across time and space. It is proof that long after voices fade and names are forgotten, human emotion remains. This painting is more than art. It is a reminder of who we are. Nothing in this painting is accidental. At first glance, it may feel effortless, as if it simply appeared the way it is. But the deeper truth is that every inch of it is the result of intention, patience, and countless decisions made in quiet moments. This is where its power begins. Not in spectacle, but in discipline. Every brushstroke carries weight. Some are bold and confident, others soft and restrained, but all of them serve a purpose. The artist understood that greatness is not created in one dramatic moment. It is built slowly, through repetition, focus and trust in the process. Stroke by stroke, layer by layer, the vision began to take shape. There were likely moments of hesitation, moments when the artist stepped back, unsure whether to continue, unsure whether the work was becoming what they imagined. Yet instead of rushing, They observed. Instead of forcing perfection, they allowed progress. That restraint is visible in the final work. It is calm, balanced, and deliberate, even when it expresses intense emotion. This painting reminds us that mastery is not loud. It does not announce itself. It reveals itself through detail, through the way light falls exactly where it should, through shadows that feel natural rather than dramatic, through colours that speak to each other in harmony. None of this happens by accident. It happens because someone cared deeply about every small choice. There is a lesson here far bigger than art. In life, people often chase quick results. They want instant recognition, immediate success, rapid transformation. But this painting stands as proof that meaningful outcomes take time, that what lasts is rarely rushed. The artist trusted that if they focused on the work itself, on doing each small part well, the larger result would take care of itself. Look closely, and you'll notice that even the imperfections seem intentional. Slight variations in texture, uneven lines, subtle contrasts, all of them add humanity to the piece. They remind us that perfection is not the goal. Expression is. And sometimes it is the imperfections that make something feel alive. This work shows the courage it takes to commit to a vision without knowing how it will be received. The artist could not predict how history would judge this painting. They could only control the honesty of each brushstroke. And that honesty is what gives the painting its enduring strength. Every stroke is a decision. To continue, to adjust, to trust, to believe that the effort matters even when the outcome is uncertain. That mindset is what separates ordinary work from extraordinary work, not just in art, but in any field. This painting teaches us to respect the process, to understand that excellence is built quietly, often unnoticed, long before it is ever celebrated. It encourages us to slow down, to focus on what is in front of us, and to do it with care. Because when enough intentional moments come together, they create something powerful, something lasting, something that speaks long after the hands that made it are gone. And that is the hidden power behind every brushstroke in this remarkable painting. Empires have risen and fallen. Cities have been built, destroyed, and rebuilt. Entire civilizations have disappeared into history.